So back in December, I was actually invited out with a bunch of other content creators to get a first-hand experience with this right here, the all-new DJI Avata 360. And in this video, I'm not going to go into all of the specs of this drone. I actually have a review video coming out in a couple weeks, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you guys want to see that video. I do want to talk more about my experience flying the drone for the first few times and some of the things I really like about this drone, especially when it comes down to this right here, the all-new 360 camera system at the very front of the Avata 360. And like I mentioned, if you guys want to see my full review video of the Avata 360, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, turn that notification bell on. But first and foremost, let's talk about my experience flying this drone. First, we'll talk about the design of the Avata 360. And as you can see here, putting it next to the Avata 2, it is a little bit bigger than the Avata 2. It is a little bit slimmer though. As you can see, it is slimmer. The Avata 2 sticks up a lot taller than the Avata 360, except you do have the bigger bump here in the front because of that 360 camera. Now comparing that to the Avata 1 actually was definitely much smaller than the Avata 360, but this thing is a screamer. This thing is super loud, and as you can see, the battery does sit up a lot taller. And then when comparing it to something like the Neo 2, check this out. This is actually a really fun combo right here. Avata 360, and this is the Neo 2. Now, when it comes down to the camera, this is the most unique part about this whole drone. Of course, we have 360 camera, and how are we shooting 360 if the camera is facing you? Where's the other camera? Well, the other camera is actually on the other side. So when you take off and land, which is super cool, this is one of the coolest parts about this drone, is that this camera actually rotates just like this. So when you are taking off and landing, the camera itself will spin from a 360 or rotate from 360 like this. Camera here up top, camera here at the very bottom. And when it comes down for landing, it will then rotate this way. And there's little feet here, little pads at the bottom. So when you are landing, you're not going to be landing on the camera lens itself. It'll just land just like this, and it sits up just like that. I really like how compact they made the camera system here at the very front. And of course, just like the other Avatas, we have the full propeller guards all the way around. Next thing I saw in my bag, which I was extremely happy about, we have replaceable lenses for the Avata 360, something that I think we all wished we had on the Osmo 360. Of course, DJI heard us and they said, okay, well, if we're not gonna have it on the Osmo 360, we have to have it on the next 360 camera. They have removable lens kits for the Avata 360. So if you were to crash the drone, scratch up the lens here on top or the bottom, you can now just replace the lenses. Something I know we wish we had on their other 360 camera, but yes, we do have that option here on the Avata 360. Now on the second day we were there, we had a little excursion, and that was for us to go out and fly this drone. But the crazy thing is, it was snowing, it was raining, it was dumping pretty much all morning. But the thing was, DJI did not even hesitate and did not worry at all about us flying the drone in the snow or in the rain. Now, of course, when it came down to the footage clarity, it wasn't as clear as we'd like it to be because yes, we were getting rain and snow on the lenses. And of course, if it's pointing up like this, it was just dumping here at top, a little less here on the bottom. But the crazy thing was is that DJI was not concerned at all as far as the weather conditions. Yes, the drone is not waterproof, it's not submergible, but that was like the least of their concern, which was actually built a little confidence for us to go out there and fly and know that they trusted it, so no reason for us not to trust it. Now, when it came down to piloting the Avata 360, they actually included this one here, which is the DJI RC2. For the most part, everyone was excited because we can now fly the drone pretty much as we're used to flying any other drone. We have remote control, we have a built-in screen here for you to see what the drone sees. So having a standard style remote control was a big hit, but of course, you can fly the Avata 360 with your DJI N3 goggles, you can fly it with the RC3s, also you can fly it with this right here, which is the Motion Controller 3. So if you do want that more immersive flight experience, yes, you can use the goggles, you can use your remotes to fly the Avata 360. Now, after taking it up for my first few flights over there, the one thing you will notice, the DJI transmission, rock solid, just like all of the other drones. And I think that's what separates DJI from most all of the other drone companies, is that their transmission is just so well tested over the years. And people were out there flying in the snow, in the rain, taking it out above really, really high, dense trees and forests. And with that trusted transmission, people were just pushing their drones out there, even though the weather wasn't great, because of the fact that DJI is just well known for how strong their signal is. Then when we got to our second and third locations, I was pretty much down to like a battery and a half or so to just get some content. So I just did a little bit of free flying, and of course, the DJI transmission, how smooth it flies, everything just works as you would expect it to, as it does on all of their other drones. And then when it comes down to editing all of that footage, you'll be using the same software that you would use on the Osmo 360, which is just the DJI Studio or 360 Studio app. Then all you have to do is either use the AI tracking, use the keyframe option, and then re-export out those angles and those positions you want from your flight. Now, as far as my first impressions, flight experience wise, definitely is positive because it just works as you would expect. Almost all the DJI drones, the flight characteristics, the flight dynamics, pretty much on par. Transmission is actually one of the things I was really impressed about. Like I said, DJI wasn't even worried about you flying out there in the snow or in the rain. And I will be doing a full breakdown as far as specs goes in comparison to these drones here in my full review video. And of course, for the past few weeks, I've been able to fly this drone here where it's nice and sunny in California. So if you guys want to see how high of a quality this camera does shoot, as well as my full spec breakdown and comparisons of this drone with these right here, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I'll be posting that video up shortly. Those are my first flights and impressions of the Avata 360. If you guys got some value from this video, a big like would be much appreciated. This is Aldrin Stacio with FlytPath.com. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.